Alright.
Go ahead.
Alright. Hello. My name is Tyler Berry, and this is my story. I am a 22-year-old male. I grew up in Prairieville, Louisiana. Tyler and Crystal were my youth pastors from 8th grade to the beginning of sophomore year, something like that. It might have been 7th grade, but little details. I had known them for quite some time. We were pretty close. You know, they were definitely a big role in my life at that point. I was involved in all the internships, all the mission trips, doing all the little activities that we had for our youth group. And come the beginning of my sophomore year, I had found out that I had to move from Louisiana to Illinois because of family issues. I found out on a Friday and left the following Sunday, and that was a really hard time in my life because, you know, I had this huge church family. I had all my friends, I had the youth group, I had pretty much a plan for my life. It was all set out before me, and then all of a sudden I was being completely ripped out of that and placed in this totally different area, and that was something that I just didn't know how to deal with at all at that age. And eventually, it didn't happen right away, but upon moving to Illinois, I ran from God faster than I even knew I could run, you know. Come senior year, I started doing a lot of drugs, partying all the time. I don't know how I graduated high school, but once I did, I ended up just working my pizza job. I gave college a little bit of a try. It was a community college. It wasn't fulfilling to me, so I just stopped going to that. I just kept partying, kept doing drugs, kept just working my crap pizza job. And that was my life, you know? It was work, party, sleep, rinse, wash, repeat. And it was very exhausting, very tiring, and eventually left me with a void. And one day I'd expressed to an old friend from Louisiana that I was feeling that void, and I guess she was touched by it, and she talked to her mom, who then had reached out to Tyler and Crystal. Remind you, I hadn't talked to them in 5 years at this point because I'd moved to Illinois. Finished high school, was a couple years after high school, and then this all happened. And so once her mom talked to Tyler and Crystal, they had given me a call really out of the blue one day. I remember being really surprised by that. And Tyler was telling me, you know, we started a church in Boston, we'd love for you to come check it out, hang out for 3 weeks, do an internship, come see what it's about. And I decided, yeah, let's do this, you know. To me, it was a 3-week vacation. I had no interest in church or that kind of religion anymore. The drugs had gotten to me, you could say, I guess. But point is, I gave it a shot. I came out to Boston for 3 weeks. Totally not what I expected at all. It was very great. I fell in love with the city immediately. I loved how big and small it was at the same time. I loved being able to see Tyler and Crystal again and seeing their kids. That was pretty mind-blowing. Eventually, in this 3-week trip, this missionary by the name of Luke Walters came around, and he's been to StoryHeights a few times now. But I remember we had taken a trip out to Portland, Maine, and we were sitting at a pizza place, and all of a sudden he's sitting across the table from me, and he said, "Boy, God gave you a second chance, and if you don't take it now, you're never gonna get it again." And anytime you meet a man who is that spirit-filled, I guess, it is a terrifying thing when he starts telling you that you need to take hold of what God has given you. You tend to just listen, you don't even really question it. And so him telling me that, it was pretty game changing, because he was someone who didn't even know Tyler and Crystal, really. There wasn't a relationship there. He had just felt called to come hang out on one of the weeks that I just so happened to be in Boston there. And he was able to speak that into my life, and from that point I decided I would try out moving to Boston, because going back to Illinois was gonna leave me nowhere but still doing drugs, still working a crap pizza job, and with no support and no help, no hope, you know. I had talked to Tyler later that week, and we had kind of figured out how I could stay in his basement for a while. I ended up canceling my flight back to Illinois. I called my job, quit. I then quickly realized that I just moved to Boston with $200 in my pocket and a week's worth of clothes. And so then I had to figure something out. I started looking for a job. Eventually, a musician came through who was playing guitar for us for a while. We had become buddies. We both shared a love for the Grateful Dead, because we were both dirty hippies once upon a dream. But we were hanging out, and I would go and hang out at his house every other weekend kind of thing. Anytime he had to play, you know, we would just hang out the night before and then go to church the next day. And his mom kind of got to know me and offered me to live with her, which was a huge relief. All of a sudden I didn't have to pay rent anymore. She's gotten me enrolled in Mass Bay Community College. I'm doing a human services program there, and it cost me absolutely nothing, which is another amazing thing that I never thought would happen. I have straight A's right now, which is, again, another thing I never thought would happen. And really, I've just gotten a whole new sense of hope, I guess. Hope for my life, hope for a future. And it's been a crazy, crazy thing. And I think coming out to Boston was totally just this God-constructed thing, because it's just so random and like so out of the blue and just totally against anything that is normal. I mean, it just, when you just step back and look at it, and I know I'm probably not the best at telling the story, but for anybody involved in this story, when you step back and look at it, it's just like, what, are you kidding me? Like, there's no way any of this could have happened without God. But it's been an awesome thing, and I would say the two main things I've gotten out of it this far, and I know it's a continuous journey that just keeps on keeping on, but I've gotten a lot of hope and a lot of joy, and those are two things that I've never had, really. I mean, I've always been happy, but I've never had joy, and I'm still trying to figure out how to make that unconditional. But it's a relief, really. It is. It's something that you can't get anywhere else except from the Holy Spirit, you know. And it is definitely an adventure. I guess if I could say one thing to a congregation at once, I would say, if you're on the fence, give it a shot, you know. Just jump on in. Go big or go home, you know. Nothing's worth doing halfway. So I guess that's it. And if you want me to say anything else or want to ask any questions, I can start spieling. Or if you want me to redo anything. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead.